Hi, I'm Bill Bradley. Join me for a recent excerpt of American Voices. Here in American Voices, we celebrate all this country has to offer. So after hearing about people's life stories, we also want to celebrate the land. So each week we invite authors, artists to come and talk about their favorite place or sound in the country. This time we hear from Judy Pearson. She's the author of Crusade to Heal America, The Remarkable Life of Mary Lasker. Here's Judy Pearson on her favorite place.
Hi, my name is Judy Pearson, and my favorite place in America is Little Gasparilla Island on the Gulf of Mexico off the coast of Florida. I grew up on Lake Michigan. In the winters, we always went to the Atlantic side, but my mother read about Sanibel Island right after the causeway was built. So we started coming to Sanibel, which was famous for its shells. It was just this beautiful, I have so many wonderful memories. When I had children, I began bringing them down to Sanibel. The island is only a half mile wide and 5 miles long. It's warmer than the oceans. It was just beautiful. Walking the beach, looking at the seashells, and there are abundant seashells, watching the dolphins swim by. There's just something calming. You feel like you are really communing with nature. And pretty soon you don't even realize how far you've walked. I've been there when it's been cloudy and cold, and I think that's just as pretty because then, even though there are not a lot of people who live there, there are fewer still on those kinds of days on the beach, and you just get this wonderful sense of being like you are the pirate who discovered the beach. And by the way, I think this is kind of interesting because I love history. Gasparilla comes from Jose Gaspar, who was a pirate, but he's a fictitious pirate. But that's where the term Gasparilla comes from. I love to talk to myself. I have thoughts just like everybody else, but for some reason they come out of my mouth. Lots of times in mornings when I'm walking with the dog, I pretend like I'm talking to the dog. But the truth is, I'm really just talking to myself. I ask myself questions and then I answer them. So I use my alone time to do that. And it's just the idea that I can talk to myself and not feel stupid. I find it the way to express myself and get thoughts out into the open to see how they feel. I went through cancer treatment about a decade ago, and my oncologist was really funny and, gave me ideas of things I could do as I was going through treatment, or as I was sitting there getting chemo. And she said, or you could journal. And I said, I write for a living. That's not terribly new or relaxing. So we kind of laughed about that. But so it's very natural to me to ask myself questions or say things to myself about my own feelings. And now it's not nearly as rare because, people have earbuds and headphones. And so you frequently see people talking and they're talking into their earbuds. But I still kind of feel kind of self-conscious about it. But when I'm walking on this beach, the idea of saying it out loud to myself, if I say, well, you never, or I always thought, and then I think, no, that's a little harsh. Maybe I should say it this way instead. And the same is true when I'm working on something professionally for publication. So here's a big secret. You all who are listening are the only people who know I feel this way. I'm conscious of doing it, but I've never talked about it with anyone else. You all are the first people who know. That's why the island and the beach is so special to me. Beaches are special to me regardless, but being on a nearly deserted beach, I just feel much more free to be able to do it and not feel as though people are going to think I've lost my mind, I guess. I tend to take problems that I want to sort out first before I voice them to my husband or to my children. So having a diagnosis like cancer, you really get rocked and you really hope that you will recover, but you sort of need to sort things through in your mind to make sure everything is right in case you don't recover. And I remember walking on the beach a couple months after my diagnosis and as I was in treatment and feeling very serene, having this thought, like saying to myself, man, this is probably the toughest test I've been through. Sure hope I make it. And then hearing sort of a voice in my head say, you're going to be all right. That really changed me because I now looked not so much at making plans in case I didn't recover, but making plans because I was going to. And that was just because I took a walk on the beach and I looked at the shells and I looked at the birds and I looked at the water, and all of a sudden all was right with the world.
That was Judy Pearson, the author of the book Crusade to Heal America, The Remarkable Life of Mary Lasker. Thank you for listening to American Voices here on my YouTube channel. For more interviews celebrating the goodness and creativity of the American people, click the subscribe button below.